Hello, it's Steve Jamieson here, Managing Broker of RE/MAX Crest Realty Westside with your frequently asked questions. Today's question comes from one of my agents here at our West 7th location, and their question is, I'm in a lot of multiple offer situations lately and I'm winning some and I'm losing some, but I'm getting frustrated with the ones I'm losing. Is there anything you'd recommend that I could do to help my chances when I'm in a multiple offer situation? And this is a really good question, and I do get asked this a lot, especially in our market that we're in right now. And what I did is I had my own ideas, but I also went to some of our top agents in our office and I asked them, what do you do to increase your odds of winning in a multiple offer situation? And so I've got a list, the top 5 things that I think you could do in conjunction with some of the advice I got from our agents to help your odds in a multiple offer situation. Price. I know it sounds obvious, that's the number one. You've got to have the best offer. Most sellers are simply going to be looking, among other things, at the price. That's their ultimate goal, is to get the highest price they can for the property. There's different ways that you could perhaps talk to your client and make them realize that they need to offer their highest price, their best offer first. One of the things that I do is I'll let my clients know, so for example, if you offered $421,000 for this property and then you found out a couple of days later that it sold for $425,000, would you be upset that you lost it for $425,000, and would you have been happy to pay $425,000 for the property? And if the answer is yes, then you really should be offering $425,000 now. So that's just one way to have that conversation with your client. The other thing that I've found helpful is I'll show them the grid from Paragon now, showing the list price and the sale price. And depending on the type of property, it can be quite a variance between what it's listed for and what it actually sells for. And of course, if we don't show that to the client, they're only seeing the list price that they see in advertisements and online, and they don't realize that the majority of properties in this property type are selling for higher than the asking price. And it really lets them know that offering, for example, $50,000 more than the list price may not be out of line in that exact range of properties or the type of property that they're looking at. So again, price is of course one of the most important. Another thing that a lot of people overlook in this day and age, especially with email and faxing, is to present in person. It is your right. There's MLS rules that allow you as the buyer's agent to have the right to present in person unless the listing agent can give you written instructions from the seller, signed by the seller, stating that they don't want to be presented to in person. Now you have to be careful here, of course, because you don't want to alienate the listing agent by insisting on seeing these instructions. But it is your right to present in person, and if you can, I highly recommend it. You can convey what the buyer likes about the property. Maybe it's a heritage home that they don't want to change because they love that it's a heritage home and they love what the sellers have done with it. If it's an owner-occupied home, you'd be surprised how much the person who's moving into that family home where they raise their children, it matters to them who's taking over their home and what they're going to be doing with the home. So someone who is going to take over that home and raise their family in it and cherish it the way that they did, versus an investor who might want to tear it down and rebuild, even if the price isn't the same, they may go with the person who's going to take care of their home the way that they appreciate. So really, really important. Some neat ideas, if you can't present in person, is to have your clients write a letter explaining what it is that they like about the property, why they want to raise their family there, whatever their personal situation is. Make it personal and make them see the people behind the buyers that are actually going to be living in the home. It can really help. And one of our agents actually did something quite unique. They had their clients film a video. So they couldn't present in person. The offers had to be emailed in, but what they did is they had their clients film a video like this, letting them know that they love the home, the seller could see their personality, they saw the children, and it was that warm and fuzzy that made the sellers choose his clients, and it was because of the video. So again, you can do some different things if you can't present in person, but it's really important to convey that message so the seller understands why your buyers are the right people for that property. The other thing obviously is no subjects. As much as possible, depending again on the type of property, a detached house on the east side, you pretty much need to go in subject free these days. You need to be able to advise your client properly, make sure that you've still protected them, but in the end, if there's 10 offers, there's a good chance many of them, if not all of them, will be subject free. And so you can do things like a pre-inspection, arrange with the listing agent to have your inspector come over maybe during an open house or during a preset time where everyone's allowed to have an inspection. Just because you're going in subject free doesn't mean you still can't do your due diligence, or have an inspection ahead of time. Get the listing agent to give you all the documents, or get your client to read them all ahead of time. Same thing with financing. Talk to the mortgage broker. If they've got enough of a down payment, maybe it's appropriate and you can go in without a financing subject. So all of these things can make your offer stronger. So think of creative ways to make sure you're protecting your client while still hopefully being able to go in subject free. Another big important one these days seems to be having a bank draft with your offer. What's happened in the past is sometimes people will have the best offer and then all of a sudden a bank draft never appears. It's not worth it usually for the seller to sue the buyer for non-performance, and they just market it or give it to the next person. But if you've got a really strong offer with all of the other elements that we discussed, and then you also have a bank draft in place, well, that's going to be a stronger offer than the other offer that even may be lower in dollar amount, but they don't have a bank draft. So if they take your offer, it's 100%. Or it may even just be enough to get them to say, hey, will you pay a little bit more, and they like your offer better because of the bank draft. So again, bank draft in place, not a check, not a certified check, but a bank draft would be ideal, and it can really make your offer stronger. And then last, my fifth one is keep it clean. Again, if you've got 2 or 3 offers that are similar and yours is full of the seller warrants they're going to do this, the seller agrees to repair that, the seller agrees to something else. All of these little things are they're just another thing that the seller has to do, and it's going to make even if the price is the same or your offer may be a little bit higher and everything else is equal, those extra things that may not be all that important that you're used to putting in your contract to protect your buyer in a different market, but they're not really that important to your buyer. Again, discuss it with your buyer, it's their decision. But if they feel that they can do those repairs themselves, they don't need about the seller warranting that it's going to be professionally cleaned, for example. All of these little things that the seller doesn't have to worry about make your offer that much more attractive to the seller. So I hope this helps. These are just some hints that can help you make a better offer for your buyer and help them get the property that they want. Good luck.